Hey guys, I'm Carly and welcome back to my blog. I'm a relationship and self-esteem coach, and I'm just so passionate about helping women who are insecure in love and dating to heal attachment wounds so that you can have the kind of love, the kind of relationship with yourself and others that you deserve and that you really, really desire. And I'm just so keen to create a little space on this corner of the internet where we can normalize the experience of being insecure in relationships, so that you can know that you're not crazy, you're not too much, you're not too needy. And it's just so important that we can begin to share those experiences and relearn our experience and relearn our idea of what love truly is. So what I want to talk to you about today is finding strength within yourself when you are going through heartache, when it comes to moving on and letting go, especially from relationships or people that have been unavailable, emotionally unavailable. So you may have experienced them being hot and cold. You may have been ghosted. They may have just suddenly moved on when you thought that things were going really, really well. And you've been left in a state of confusion, limbo. You don't quite know what happened, suddenly dropped, because they've decided that they are too busy or they're not looking for anything serious at this time. And when you're in it, it can feel so difficult, even if you know what's best for you, even if you are able to say that you know you need to walk away, you may still well feel the pullback. And it's all too common to feel like you're not strong enough, you're too weak to get through this, to let them go, to give up on this love. And especially when you're just already in it. Maybe you already promised yourself, you already feel like you fell for this person, but it's not too late. It's not too late to regain control. You have that inner strength, and I'm going to give you 3 ways that you can really call on that strength that you do have. You may well have brought into the promises that have been made, compliments that were given, the future with you that was mentioned, and because that future faking that really is a thing, and maybe even a chemistry that you felt. And it's okay if your mind is going over those things. It's okay if you're really struggling not to think about them and feel them and re-experience them. The confusion, the upset, the pain, the low mood, the anger, you can feel it, that the feelings are real. Even if it turns out that the situation wasn't what you thought it was, it doesn't mean that you have to let go of the way that you felt or feel. It doesn't mean that at all. And the thing is, you might now be in this state, right, where you can't focus on anything else, and you can't even believe that you're in this position again, especially if this is a pattern that you have found yourself in time and time again, either with this person in particular that you're stuck on right now, or with other people, but it just seems like it's the same situation over and over again. I know that for me, that was my situation, finding myself in really similar situations over and over again. Sometimes the relationship wouldn't even get started. Sometimes it was just a few dates, and sometimes the relationship was years. But ultimately, when I look at the patterns of the people that I was with, it was very much emotionally unavailable. It was a promise of a future, or at least not being really clear. And obviously I wasn't asking the right questions. So that's something that I am going to be diving into over the next few weeks. So I really want you to keep an eye on my blog, on my Instagram, and all of those things, because there's responsibility to take in these situations. But that said, you're in it, or you want to break this cycle. And the truth is that rejection hurts. Whether you saw it coming, whether you've been through it before, rejection hurts. And it can leave you in a dark place. It can leave you questioning your worth. it can leave you just wondering how you're going to get through this again, and just not feeling good enough. Not feeling good enough. And that is one of the worst things that we can feel. That's when we start to spiral. That's when we get stuck. And like I say, I get it. I've been there. When you're in it, it can be really hard to regain control and get an idea of your future again and see it without this person, or imagine dating again and all of these things. And if this is a pattern that you find yourself in time and time again, you can almost just wonder, like, how am I going to get through this again? How am I in this situation again? And that sometimes is what hurts. Not only are you dealing with rejection, the sudden change, what you thought was going to be one thing and now it's not, the pain that you thought somebody cared and it turns out they don't care the way that you thought that they did. They didn't have the feelings that you thought that you felt. The chemistry, like, is it just one-sided? Not only are you going through that, but it's also just the pain that comes from finding yourself in this cycle again. The pain of rejection, you know, really bringing up past pain and trauma. And for me, I can remember a time where, I've been in the cycle a few times by this, but calling in sick at work because I was so down, I couldn't even focus. But I really remember the thought being on, how am I back here again? How did I not see this coming? We've just had this time together. It's the closest we've been. How am I now in this situation? And that's what was going around my mind. And I just felt like I just remember thinking, like, my heart can't take this again. And I would get stuck on a repeating thought, which was, they always leave, they always leave. And so you can tell already it's not about that person, right? It's about that belief that I had that we will talk about that over the coming weeks and in a workshop that I've got coming up. But they always leave. And I remember speaking to my best friend about it at the time, just describing her to the situation that it's ended, that I'm back here again, like, how has this happened? How didn't I see it coming? And I remember specifically talking about dating and just sort of saying to her really casually, like, am I going to have to go through this again? And I remember her saying, she was talking to me about my cycle and how there's parts of that I need to heal and break free from. And then we were talking about dating in general. And I remember her saying, like, actually, there's a chance you are going to have to go through this again, because that's dating. And if you're serious about putting yourself out there, having a healthy relationship, inviting something and someone in that you really say that you do want, then yes, there is a chance that you are going to have to go through this again, because you can't tell what everyone's like from the second that you meet them. They might walk, they might reject you, they might ghost, they might turn around and say that they're too busy. Whatever it might be, whatever your experience is, there's no guarantees in dating and love, right? But what that conversation did for me is it made me think, right, okay, not only have I got my own stuff to heal here, but I've got to find the strength in me if I'm serious about continuing to date. If I'm serious about really doing this, I'm going to have to find the strength, because you can't guarantee who you're going to meet, who you're going to go on a date with. And look, when you experience rejection, you become so totally activated in terms of your attachment style, in terms of feeling not good enough, all of those things that I described. And you might be going through this through the second or the third time, and you might be convinced that you can't break free from this, that this time is different. But I believe that that is not true. Like, I truly, truly believe you do have the strength inside you. What if you could start to see that each time you have these experiences, rather than knocking you down, that they are the stepping stone to you becoming stronger, to you getting closer to the right relationship, to you being the person that you are supposed to be? What if each heartache gets shorter and shorter because you learn how to deal with it? You learn that actually that is part of dating. Sometimes there's going to be heartache. Sometimes it's going to be you doing the heartbreaking, you know? But anyway, 3 ways to develop that strength within when you really, really feel like you can't take another hit. The first is for you to process the pain. Don't suppress things. That doesn't help. Don't keep it inside. Don't ignore it. Don't pretend you don't feel it. Don't try and find a false way of dealing with this. Be honest. It can seem contradictory, but the way to find your strength is to be honest about your vulnerabilities. Be honest about the way that you feel. You've got to go through, it's almost like going through weakness to get to the strength, you know? You've got to allow yourself to feel and be truthful with yourself. That is the first thing you've got to do. There's no point in suppressing it. It will come out sideways. The second way to find your inner strength when you're going through this and you need to learn to let go is to do things outside of your comfort zone. Small steps. We don't want you overwhelming yourself and panicking when you're already in, quite a difficult situation. But the greatest way to start building your confidence and feeling like yourself again is to do things that give you a sense of achievement that are for you. And at this point, getting out of your comfort zone, it's going to be doing something alone, doing something that you thought you needed that person or you need a relationship to do. Getting to know yourself and doing things that are a little bit scary is going to be one of the greatest things that you can do to show yourself that you are strong, that you have strength. Show yourself. You don't have to keep telling yourself. Show yourself that you have strength. The third way to start pulling out that inner strength is to develop a sense of trust within yourself that you can cope, that you can do this. The way to do that is to start telling yourself and feeling into the truth that you are going to be okay. Hold yourself, present yourself, walk down the street like you know that you are going to be okay. Like, we exaggerate the negatives. We exaggerate the idea that we can't cope. We put ourselves on the back foot because we underestimate our ability to cope. You are underestimating the love that you are going to have in the future. You are underestimating the strength that you have to stand up, hold your head up, and walk away from a relationship or a person that does not see you and is not serving you and is not willing to see you. Tell yourself that you are going to be okay. Remind yourself always that you can cope, and not only is that going to help you in love and relationships and in the pain that you're experiencing now, but it's going to help you in so many areas of your life to know that you're going to be okay. It's going to help you to take risks, try new things, go for that dream job, so many things. When it comes to your love life, your life in general, just remember there's no guarantees of how this is going to go. So start to build that trust with yourself. That is one of the things that I would seriously recommend. So process the pain, do not suppress it, get out of your comfort zone, and honestly start to develop that sense of trust with yourself that you are going to be okay. Now, you may have seen that I have got a free workshop coming up for you. I have put all of the details below. Sign up. If this is talking to you, then sign up, get all of the details. I can't wait to see you all there. I hope that this has given you some insight that you are stronger than you think that you are. like I said, it is my mission to help women who are insecure in love and in relationships to heal from wounded attachment so that you can have the kind of love, the kind of like dating life, relationship that you deserve and that you desire. And also to enjoy time by yourself, to get to know yourself, to create a life that you love. I just want to normalize this feeling of insecurity so that you can know that you are not too much, you're not too needy, and you are not crazy.